This video is about letting go of the need to reason. Let go of reason. Let go in general. Let's talk about it. We spend our life holding on until the great letting go we call death. Is this not a true statement? Now, you analyze that for yourself. Don't just listen to what I'm saying. Take that and really think about it. We spend our life holding on until that moment of the great letting go that we call death. We're always holding. And what are we holding on to? Let's make this thoroughly clear. You are actually, in actuality, holding on to nothing. I know. I know. Just hear me out, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. Hey, listen to me. If you listen to me, you'll gain some insight. I've explored the nature of the soul. I continuously explore it, and I bring back little nuggets. It's pain to get there. Like there's plenty of isolation in times. There's plenty of what could be called loneliness. I don't call it loneliness. I call it isolation. There's plenty of confusion, and there's wild demons and serpents that pop out at every turn, and you have to be alert and aware. You have to always be prepared when you're exploring the soul. When you're in that type of energy. But I will say, when you get what you were searching for in your exploration, um, and when you have made it a lifestyle to explore the world, which could also be called the soul, the mind, when you make it a lifestyle to do these things, you begin to understand a few things. One of those things is everything that we hold on to, the car, the house, the clothes, the relationships, the ideas, they're just ideas. We're not actually holding on to anything of real substance. We're only holding on to the ideas. And the ideas we have given a sort of power, but they have no power of their own existence. It's a power we've given them. This is why some people can look at meth and say, "Ooh, I need that." And other people like me can look at meth and say, "I will never try that. I don't need to try meth." No offense to the meth heads. I know recovery and addiction is a very difficult process. And I'm praying for everybody who's in a situation like that. I'm not down to nobody in that situation because that's not no game. Addiction is a serious mental illness. Um, but all illnesses ultimately come down to one thing, the mind, because the mind is the only thing that can experience an illness. The mind is the only thing that can experience the illness of the body. If you had no mind, you would not be experiencing any illness of anybody. But your mind experiences the illness that of your body. And your mind also experiences the illness or the longing or the craving or the desiring or any given thing. But my desires are different from your desires. And let's get this straight. Desire is not bad. Okay. Desire is life. So when I say let go, I don't mean to exist and rest in a state of desirelessness. And there are plenty of people who teach you that. And I'm laughing at them. I'm laughing at them. Even some of the greatest sages say things like this. And I say, where there is no desire, through my exploration only, just the humble exploration that I am constantly undergoing, constantly existing in, it is seen that to starve yourself will kill you, and then to overfeed yourself will also kill you. That to limit your experiences will make your life boring and meaningless, and that to overload it with experiences will make your life boring, mundane, and meaningless. So there's a time for rest, and there's a time for life and expression and action. Desire is action. You think if an atom didn't desire to be polar, it would be polar? Do you think that if a bear did not desire to reproduce, the species would exist as it does today? Do you think that if humans did not desire to create, we would have any art or anything of any value that we can come back and recognize the nature of our own souls through its depiction? No. So what I'm saying to you is desire is the moving force of life. Life force is desire. So to say to completely rid yourself of desire is not going to work. Not only is it not practical, it's not going to work. It demonizes life itself. That's not a good idea. Um, you should desire. I want you to desire everything good, everything true to you. I made a video called The Audacity to Be Yourself. I want you to desire to be yourself and to shine that part of you, the soul of you. I want you to desire that. Um, and that's a never ending thing. You're constantly creating when you're living from that state of existence. So desiring that is that's what you're meant to desire. Desire life, desire to express life. But it also means to let go when the time to let go is present. See, the people we think our existence is just a body. And when I say this, people don't want to hear it, but the truth is the truth. Your existence is not a body. You are a mind. You are mind, both conscious and unconscious of the fact. So it is safe to say you are conscious and unconscious mind. The universe, the world is mind, both conscious and unconscious of the fact. Animals are aware of themselves as an animal, but they're also not aware of themselves as life force or aware of themselves as mind, which is life force. There are many connections that need to be made before I can thoroughly establish this in your consciousness. But for right now, since we're moving along on 6 minutes, this is the case. So let's just say it like this. You are a life force. You are mind. You are intelligence. Okay. Nature is intelligence. Cosmos creation is intelligence. Since this is the case, it must be understood that what you are can never, ever just disappear because you are an awareness, as is everything an awareness. So it can never just disappear, cease to be. And religions and certain thought processes and sects of thoughts have caused mankind to think a certain way about their own being, which has created multiple forms of division and strife and hate and love and all these other different things. We won't be concerned about that. That's a different video. We're specifically talking about letting go. And in order to let go, we have to know that when the time to rest is upon us, fall into a deep, deep sleep that we call death. That should be welcomed for because we've done a life of living, like we've actively acted on our life, we've acted on the impulses, our creative impulses in our life. So when it comes time to let go, we have no reason to hold on because we've already done everything. We've done everything. Now here's the thing. The mind, right? There's the conscious mind and then there's the unconscious mind. Also could be termed the subconscious mind and the attitude it takes because it's just beneath consciousness. That is just beneath my awareness of it being there. But it's not any less mind, subconscious mind, unconscious mind being those things that we function as and in and of, but are not entirely aware of their function. Exactly how the body breathes unconsciously. Like I desire air. Okay. I desire to breathe. But it's not a conscious desire that's in my mind, but it's an unconscious desire that exists and roams in my mind to breathe. And you know it's an unconscious desire because I can make it conscious, one. And number two, if I don't have it, I will consciously try to gasp for some air. So you know that it is a conscious desire or an unconscious desire. And then you also know that it can be made conscious. Anything unconscious can be made conscious. That is the natural relationship between unconscious and consciousness. And the relationship between feminine and masculine, but that's a deeper video. We won't go into that right now. That's more Patreon stuff. So, look, letting go. The mind, the conscious mind, that is, only the conscious mind does this. Only the conscious mind does this. Thought itself is the conscious mind. There is no thought that is unconscious. It's not possible. There's only the conscious mind. Even the body functions in the conscious mind. Conscious mind is so much bigger than what we think it is. Okay. And like I said, this is the Patreon stuff, so this may not be fully able for you to grasp it, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is just more about educating an individual into the nature of themselves. So, since all of these things are ideas that we attach meaning to, or we've been given the impulse to attach meaning to them by the people and environment in which we have been introduced into from birth, it's hard to let go because we have been taught to reason our existence. There must be a reason for things. What's the reason for this? Make it make sense. Why is it this way? What is it? And that's an intellectual way to comprehend reality. And doing so will inevitably lead you to insanity. You become insane by trying to intellectualize reality. You can't do it. You don't have to take my word for it. But I will say, if you explore the soul, if you explore the world, if you explore yourself, you will literally see, why am I trying to, you will come to the realization, I cannot fathom why. I can only see, one, the existence of the thing. I can see what is the case. And two, I can only mold the case to be what I hold in my mind. That's the two powers you have. That's the two. But now you don't want. There is no reason. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. There's no reason. So abandoning the need to reason, there is not reason itself, because reason or rationale is the ability to rationalize why something is happening, why something's occurring. There's nothing wrong with that. But feeling like you need a reason for a thing will always keep you back, because you're trying to find a reason to accomplish this, a reason to act on this impulse. And reason can be manipulated. The ego can play on your reason. Oh, now there's a reason when there shouldn't be a reason to do this thing, and I just did this thing and it just set me back 5 years. And I shouldn't have did it. Why? Because I tried to reason unconsciously. It's just a habit, a habitual practice we've been taught in the world to act with. And it's not a good method of attacking or interacting with the world, because the world is not reasonable. It's, if you haven't noticed already, the world is positively insane. Things popping up spontaneously. Life is positively insane. That's the magic of it, is that it can never be conditioned into, this is why. This is the central reason why. No, it's ever something new. It's always something new. Yet nothing new under the sun exists. Do you not see how that's insane? And that would make someone's brain go cuckoo if they tried to reason out why that is or how that is. The nature of things is, things happen because of the creativity of the cosmos. The creativity of the cosmos can be called love. We'll call it that because that's the impulse, the passion behind it. It can also be called effort. It can be called many things. This is the creative impulse of the cosmos. When we understand that this is the case, we just let that be. And instead, what we do is we use our creative impulse to hold in our mind a vision that fulfills us. Now, to be fulfilled, and I'm about to make a video on this, but I'll touch briefly on it. To be fulfilled, the thing that we need to do is to understand that the only thing that can fulfill us is action towards fulfillment. And fulfillment cannot come from, this is hard, this is a hard pill to swallow. This is one of the reasons why we hold on so hard. Fulfillment cannot come from, personal fulfillment cannot come from relationships. They can't, not, no romantic ones specifically, and definitely not platonic relationships. It cannot come from uh, uh, sensation, that is pleasure or pain. It cannot come from a job. It cannot come from a a house. Here's the definition of fulfillment: Fulfillment, as in the fulfillment that never goes away. Spiritual fulfillment. That fulfillment is not based on the conditions of your existence, as in your relationships. It's a whole other thing that stands alone. It's an integrity that stands alone on its own, not interconnected with the conditions of the world around us. Because we live in a temporal world, because we live in a world where we live in the world in a existence that has time and space, because we live in those dimensions, everything is temporal. Everything has to change, is what that means. Everything is polar, it's dualistic. Since this is the case, it just needs to be understood that innately, the only thing that we can actually do in such a type of existence, that is, it's crazy in and of itself. It's always shifting, molding, changing. One person has to be here, then they leave. No one can be around you, with you, and in you, and forever a part of you. They will have to leave at some point, because the nature of reality is a self-based narrative, a self-based, consciousness-based, individualistic thing. But in its individuality, all of these individual parts play on each other and create the world around us. That's the nature of the world. That's the nature of consciousness. That's the nature of mind. That's the nature of how our existence has come to be in the way it's come to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm not saying that relationships aren't beneficial, aren't useful, aren't necessary. They definitely are necessary. Oh, God. But they cannot spiritually fulfill you, because they have to go away. So when they go away, you're going to hold on to these things. You're going to hold on to these things because you're going to be resistant to the truth that they have to go away, that they cannot stay, that they must change, that they must flow and move. Whereas if you understand the perception of the truth that all things have their time, they have their here and then they have their there. They have their with me and then they have their gone away from me. All things have that. Understanding this, you can't hold importance to these things in any real way, and you won't hold importance to these things in any real way, because you know that these things must come and go. So I don't have to hold on to them. Instead, I can let them be in my space as they are here, and then let them be away from my space when they are away. This is the nature of all beautiful people that don't seek to control and hold things, but they let the subtle influences and forces of creation, the creative forces of creation, push them, and they just them as well. That is, they let the subtle forces of creation push themselves and push everything else. They don't feel the need to directly push anything else, nor do they feel the need to pull anything else into themselves and into their world. They are comfortable just being themselves. And don't get me wrong, being yourself does not mean not committing to action. It's the exact opposite, actually. It's committing to fulfilling action, action that fulfills the love and the life and the desire for love and life in you. Practice this. And if you practice this, you will be comfortable and more comfortable with death. Um, Actually, I'll make another video about that. How to become more comfortable with death. Oh, funny bone. That's a good idea. So that's what we'll do. We'll make a video about that. How to become more comfortable with death. But I would say stay tuned so that you can see the technique that I'm about to explain, because it's actually a very beautiful technique. Um, you know, more comfortable with death. Becoming comfortable with mortality is becoming comfortable with dreaming and deep sleeping. When you're comfortable with dreaming and deep sleeping, then when you are awake, you will just see it as another dream, a mortal dream, a dream in which, just like a God dream, in which you have a dream where you can fly and soar through the sky, it's no different. One is just a dream of some illusory, solid form of independence that's you're conscious of. You're conscious of your own independence. That's a dream. Then you're also another one, which is the dream, the God dream that I was talking about, is a unconscious awareness of your interdependent nature. That is, you are unconsciously aware. It doesn't need to be said, but you just know in this dream that your existence is not separate from the existence of the dream itself. Like the substance of the dream and you are not separate. And so this is why you can do whatever you want to do in your dreams. But that's also a dream because there is no you in deep sleep. So this is where going into deep sleep you get more comfortable. And that's what the technique's going to be about. It's more about being comfortable sleeping, really sleeping, like genuinely going deep into sleep and resting. Like that's what we're going to talk about in that video. So if you're looking for something like that, if you have sleep trouble, sleep problems, that would be a good video for you. But yeah, ultimately back to the letting go. This is 21 minutes. I didn't want this video to be this long, but I feel like it just had to be this long. Sleep. Like it comes down to a deep, real sleep, and that's what death is. It's a very deep sleep, but it's not like you have no awareness. Like when you're asleep, you still have an awareness. There's still an awareness, but it's just spaced out. Let's just call it that. So when you're sleeping, you're not sitting here, you know, deathly afraid. Nor should you be deathly afraid on that time when that moment to evacuate the premises is upon you. Because you've lived so much that when the time comes, you're doing it joyfully. Actually, you're like, wow, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm in my bag. I'm in my bag. I'm in my bag. Yeah. I'm in my bag. I'm in my bag. I'm in my bag. Yeah. Whipping it, whipping it, whipping it, whipping it, whipping it bag. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying though. Like that's all I'm saying though. That's all I'm saying. So that's just useful things to think about. Let go. Let go of the need to try and reason the things in your life. The things in your life happen. All right. What you know that they did is that they made you into a stronger, more aware, more capable person. That's what you know they did. But why it happened? Nigga, stop making it like when you think about why it happened, it makes you think, oh, there's something wrong with me. What should I have done? Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Oh, maybe it's because I'm a bad person. Oh, karma comes around, goes around. Maybe I shouldn't have did that. No, it's all a learning lesson. Life is learning. Learning is life. When you stop learning, you stop growing. When you stop growing, you die. So never stop growing, never stop exploring, never stop understanding, seeking understanding. Trying to understand is not the same thing as trying to reason. Understanding is not reason. Understanding is different from reason. Understanding is different from rationale. Understanding is what rationale can lead to and what reason can lead to, but true understanding of a thing, that is spiritual understanding, comes from experience, wisdom, and the connection between experiences. When you experience one thing and then you experience another thing, your brain and your mind, that is, creates connections between the experience. And when these connections are made, then you get understanding. But understanding is an organic living being, and it's always developing and changing according to the experiences. So the more you experience, let's say like this, the more you explore your soul, the more you experience. The more you experience, the more you will inevitably make connections. And therefore, the broader the picture you will have, the more understanding you will have. And that's the formula. So instead of be afraid, understand. And then the fear will cease on its own.